Hello, my friends. Welcome to a very cozy edition of Astro Chat and Chill. Um, you can't see any of this behind me because of this handy dandy screen, right, situation that we've got going on, background, right? But I'm in bed. My back is fucking killing me. I don't know what I did to it yesterday, but something happened and here we are. So I don't necessarily anticipate, like I'm already a couple of minutes late. I don't necessarily anticipate that I'm going to be here for the full like Astro Chat and Chill today. So if you're just here to like get a taste of what this is like, this is an interesting day. This is not how it usually goes. Usually I am a bit more lively. Usually I'm in a completely different room. But yeah, no, I need to listen to my body today, take a fucking seat. You know what I do find pretty interesting though is that so last night I went to a yoga class. So I hurt myself somehow. I really don't even know what I did in the middle of the day. And I have been really looking forward to the yoga class that happened last night. It was at 7 o'clock last night, and um it's a hip hop flow. But my yoga teacher, her husband is a DJ. And so he was in there with like a DJ booth and everything, doing like live DJ, like hip hop flow. It was fucking awesome. And so I've been like really looking forward to this. And I had told a few people that I was going to be there. And I don't like being somewhere or like saying I'm going to be somewhere and then not showing up. It's one of the things that I really took away from my dad. It's like the only thing that you have in this world that's like worth anything is your word, like your name. So like don't lie to people, don't make promises that you can't keep. I know that it's a silly thing to put that much emphasis on something like saying I'm going to show up for yoga or even this right now. Like whether there, I don't even know if there's anybody here right now. It doesn't even matter. Like I say, I'm going to be here at 9 o'clock every day. Like I'm going to be here at 9 o'clock every day, unless there's an actual emergency, unless I schedule a vacation or something like that. But like my back is a little tweaked. And just like I held a group call like this yesterday, it's like, I'm either going to sit here and be in pain and not go live and do something else, or I'm going to sit here and be in pain and go live. Like it really doesn't, like I'm not going to sleep. Like there's, you know what I mean? Like this is not, I'm not sick. Like my back hurts a little bit and like it sucks. And I don't want to be sitting in my desk and like the whole thing. So I'm going to adapt. I'm going to let myself do this. But yeah, so went to yoga last night. And of course, like it was such a great flow. But and this happened again today, right? That like, because I went to yoga this morning at 6 a.m. And basically what happened is that we were in the flow, right? We're being guided to like go into different poses. And there are some poses that I've tried, like I've really tried several times before. And for whatever reason, like I don't know if it's a strength thing or if it's confidence thing or whatever. But I haven't been able to like hit the pose. And it's not really about hitting the pose in yoga, you know, it's about the discipline, it's about the breath work, it's about pushing yourself a little bit more or just listening to your body. But I feel like today and like last night, even like my body, like the message that I'm really getting is like, try something because you want to, and like without the expectation of hitting it or of it being amazing or like whatever. And like let yourself be surprised by how fucking strong you are and how awesome you are and how creative you are and just like whatever. Because yeah, like I hit these two poses, and in fact, oh my god, last night I'm like still like moderately embarrassed, but like whatever, like this is me. I'm like in class and we're doing this pose, and I believe that the way it's pronounced is Ekapada Kondasana 2, right? So it's like you're basically holding yourself up like on your arms. It's like sort of like a crow pose, but not. And like one leg is extended in front of you and one leg is like up behind you. And just like, I have tried this pose many, many times and have not been able to hit it. And then just like because my back was hurting or like is hurt, I had no expectation of being able to hit it, but I just like tried anyway. And then all of a sudden I'm doing it and I say like just exclaim out loud in the middle of class, like, oh my fucking God, I'm doing it. And everybody, right? Like the class erupts in laughter and I want to like disappear into the floor. I'm just like, whatever. But that is just very me, like expletive laced fucking like enthusiasm. Anyway, so I don't know. I think I'm gonna continue to share stuff like that with you because I want to. I don't know. This is what we do now. I listen to my intuition and I say, oh shit. Sorry. Sorry, I'm looking at the transits for today. I like forgot that this was happening. It's so funny because like I do, you know, like I do horoscopes, like I do, like I know everything that's happening. Like none of this should be a surprise to me. This just goes to show you it's not like I'm like, and I know it sounds really weird coming from someone whose like whole thing is astrology, and it is, but it's like there is a line between listening to your intuition and right, like allowing yourself to use this information to an extent, and then just like living and breathing by what the stars tell you to do. Like that's just not the way that I do things. I say it over and over. Like I use the stars more as like a confirmation tool or like a general guidance tool, not as like an instruction manual to tell me what to do next, right? Because that's not that I don't believe is like the way that we should be doing this. But I don't know. You get to everybody has their own philosophies, I guess. So I said, oh shit, right? Because Mercury is coming in a conjunction with Pluto today. And again, those are both transiting. So this is not like my natal Pluto or anything like that. It's Mercury conjunct Pluto. Now, this will be at the very, very, very end of Capricorn, right? Like, I don't know, 28, 29 degrees maybe. Oh my God, can I be not an old woman? I like just really can't see that. Yeah, 28 degrees, almost 29 degrees, very close. And I just know that because I'm like waiting with bated breath for fucking Pluto and Saturn to move signs because that's happening next month. So and then at the end of the week, we have Mercury moving into Aquarius, which is my natal sign. Super excited. Get ready to think big, y'all. And for everyone who's like still felt like your wheels have been spinning or like you can, okay, now that like the, you know, retrograde season and all of that is like behind us and we have started kind of collecting like our thoughts and okay, I feel like I have a better idea of what it is that I want to get after, what I want to do this year, like whatever. And especially now, like because Mercury coming in conjunction with Pluto, it's like there is going to be some kind of radical change. This is what the whole horoscope was like about this week for the rising signs, right? It was like the whole week is going to be about like you're having a radical shift, like you're going to learn something or you're going to have a shift in perspective, something is going to happen in like a particular area. So you want to look at wherever Capricorn is ruling your chart, right? So wherever Capricorn is in your chart, that's going to be the area of your life that, you know, we're having this like come to Jesus recognition moment. And actually that's so interesting. Now I say this out loud and this is direct tomorrow. So we are going to have like 2-3 days of, you know, a contemplation period. So it starts today, tomorrow, and then it moves into Saturday. But it obviously is direct tomorrow. And this is for no, oh my gosh, we're still in Corpus Christi. So if you're watching, Kara, here you go. All the times are in your city or in your time zone. So adjust accordingly. So this is like 12:30, right? Or is Corpus Christi? Corpus Christi is central, isn't it? I believe. So I don't know who I'm asking because I can't see any chats right now. But yeah, I'm pretty sure. So then that would be like 12:15 my time on the East Coast. So yeah, you want to look at like wherever Capricorn is ruling your chart. Now, we've been playing with whole sign here for the most part. So for me, that would be the eighth house. Which again, just a very interesting thought that I keep coming up against. I had a whole like unintentional. So yesterday afternoon, whatever, I had a group call in my membership, and it's like the highest tier of my membership. And they just like ask me whatever, and most of the time it's about business, and sometimes it's about like managing, like what it's usually about is like a mindset thing or a like making something easier thing, right? Whether it's related to business or whether it's related to your life so that you can bring that back to your business or vice versa. And over the last few years, I've really gone into this like very self-sacrificing mode. And this is something that I really was like having a reckoning with last night as I was going through this group call, because I got this question that like basically led to like a talk therapy session, like me just giving myself talk therapy out loud, and showing them like the progression of my business and like all of the twists and turns and pivots that have happened along the way and the reasoning behind them, like why I made certain shifts, like what was the because especially in the beginning, it was like very rapid shifting. And now it's not so rapid, but it can be very dramatic. And but it always feels super organic. And so I know that that's something that's very intriguing to people. I mean, and if we're going to talk about astrology, like I'm a Gemini rising, 5 placements in the 8th house, right? And so, yeah, I do get like in a very deep way what it means to change, like what it means for things to transform, and what's required for you to really make those shifts. And Pluto is one of those placements. It's like the most generational placement, right? So it's like, again, we're about to have Pluto move into Aquarius, and there it will be for like 20 years, right? Because it's going to be from 2024 until like 2043, I think, something like that. So it's a slow mover. Like we've had Pluto in Capricorn, it's been transiting my 8th house since 2008, right? So it has been a very transformative time. But if you want to look at any indication of like how Pluto may, add some kind of energy, like what your differentiation is in with Pluto, would be to look at the house. Like definitely look at the sign, but look at the house, right? And so just to add on to all of this like transformational energy that I carry, we've got Pluto in Scorpio, right? I'm in the Pluto Scorpio generation, in the 6th house, which is the house of day-to-day life, day-to-day wellness, routines, right? So like just change happens on a daily basis. Change is the only thing that we can count on. And that's like my whole thing. So I was going through this last night and was really realizing where over the last couple of years in particular, I have just been in major like self-sacrificing mode, and just operating from a place of like I don't even know how to describe it, because it's like I never like, I don't know, shame is like the word that always comes up. Like that's the word that I feel ashamed, and like not so much anymore. Like I'm really, really, truly leaving it behind. Um, like really like healing from that moment, but it's like there was so much wrapped up in this business that I had built, and this like, it was a fully scaled, you know, on its way to becoming a 7-figure business, like with employees and like so much going on. And when I essentially like killed it, I was like, I felt just terrible. I felt terrible for so many reasons. I felt terrible. I talked about this last night, and I won't even go into all the reasons right now because it doesn't truly matter. But what I did in order for like what I did to make, I don't know, my ego feel better, I guess, or like for me to not feel like, I don't know, I can't even justify it anymore. But it was like I went back to this super self-sacrificing, like way like over giving, over serving, super undercharging, and like not, and like I had boundaries, but like it was not something that was going to be long term sustainable. And but I wasn't giving myself like an out. Like I wasn't giving myself like it's like when you just move forward without a goal or without an end game in mind or without, like intention or whatever, it's like all my intention, I guess, was like um to undo whatever perceived harm I had caused, which is crazy because I didn't do anything. Like that's what's such a fucked up trip about it, is like I was really just emotionally reacting to something that it was not my responsibility. Like I did exactly what I needed to do when it's like you can only do the best you can with the information that you have. And when I got the information that told me that I needed to do something different, I did something different as soon as I fucking could. Right. And like, that's something to be proud of, period. Like, I am a person who, like, integrity is the most important thing to me. And it's not in like like I'm better than anybody sort of way, but like in I want to be able to go to sleep at night. like I want to be able to like, I say this all the time, like whatever, y'all get used to the morbid, like Mama Capricorn energy, but like I think almost every day of like, what do I want to be thinking about? Like, what do I want my last moments to be? Like, how do I want to feel in those last moments that I'm breathing in this fucking body on earth, Like, I want to be proud of myself. But one of the words that always comes up for me, one of the things like, and I actually think this is a really great exercise for people. It's like, what are 5 words that you would like people to use to describe you? Or like, if someone were going to read your eulogy, if someone were going to be talking about you at your funeral, what would be like 5 descriptors that you would like people to use, like that you hope people use when they talk about you? One of the biggest words that like, or one of the most frequent words that comes up for me when I think about this is generous. Like I want people to like, wow, she was really generous. And like, so 12th house Taurus Jupiter, like, wow, you know? But yeah, I want people to say that I was generous, that I was like very giving. And sure, that can be like my insight or my knowledge, my services, like whatever. But I do want to like when I had money like that, like when I was like, right, in like the peak of my business that I ended up killing, I gave so much money to my daughter's school. I was donating every month to, it was like it was part of my business model, that it was like every purchase of my program, $100 would go into a savings account. And then at the end of the month, whatever was in that account would get donated to, we had like one charity every month that we would, and it was like, I mean, we were donating like a fuckload of money, a fuckload of money at a certain point, right? And it was like a lot, and it felt awesome. And I like, that was one of the first thoughts that I had this morning. It was like 5:45 in the morning. I'm like getting up, I'm like opening my front door so I can go to yoga. And just the thought, it's like, it hits me like lightning. And it's like, if you want to be known for being generous, then you're probably going to have to like charge people money for your services. Like, oh, like it's probably like, like probably not going to just be able to like literally give my physical labor energy to every person that I want to. Like, that's probably not feasible or possible. And nobody asked me to get up on that cross, did they? But with Mercury, this is a long way for me to be telling you about Mercury conjunct Pluto today, but this is like how I'm processing it, I guess. Yeah. So Mercury coming in a conjunction with Pluto for me in my 8th house is all about, 8th house is like what we don't talk about in the daylight, right? Like you could generalize it as like sex and, right, like taboo, the occult, right? That's like 8th house energy. But also just like things we don't like, it's not polite to talk about money, right? Where the 2nd house is the house of like money, the material world, and like I would see the 2nd house as more of like the Kardashians, and the 8th house is more like Warren Buffett. You know what I mean? Where like it's like money talks, wealth whispers. He eats like a McMuffin every day and lives in like a 5-bedroom house or something like that. Like just like a normal dude. Not a normal dude, but y'all, you know what I mean? Money talks, wealth whispers, 2nd house, 8th house. And so I think that's also, now that I'm even saying that out loud, like that's also part of it, is like charging what I need to charge, right? It's like other people's money is what the 8th house is, right? So charging what I need to charge so that I can like provide for myself and my family and live well and get to be like extremely generous, like that. Where is I even fucking going with that? Oh, it doesn't mean that I have to like, because I don't identify as someone, okay, so like when we talk about like manifestation people or like business coaches, right, or like high-end coaches or like whatever, it's like all of them, and I think that this like kind of trendiness is phasing out, but like it's the private jets, and it's the Balenciagas, and it's the brand names, and it's the champagne flutes, and it's the, these luxury retreats and stuff. And it's like, my version of that is like tripping on acid and going to a festival for a few days. You know what I mean? And it's like, my version of like looking nice and feeling great every day is not like, red bottoms and like heels and like, it's like literally I wear yoga clothes every day, like all the time. Like I'm always wearing, like it's pretty much just exclusively what I wear, with like maybe like a band t-shirt on over it, right? Like I got a Rufus to Soul Sitch we're rocking today. They were robbed we're not going to talk about it. I'm not going to have the beehive on me, but really? And like, fine, okay, like Honey Dijon and Jean Ferris, right? Green Velvet, they can have their flowers for contributing, but like, whatever. I'm gonna stop talking about it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to charge people money to get to be general. Like, I'm gonna have to like do my work, right? I'm gonna have to like get big out there too. And just because I do that doesn't mean that I have to look like that. You know what I mean? Like, just like people, for me to be generous, for me to be even like wealthy or whatever, doesn't require me to like look a certain way. And I think that we were talking about that a lot yesterday too. Like, that's something that tripped me up for a long time, feeling like I had to like look apart. And we have all been talking about that recently. That has super come up. Anyway, look for where this is going on in your chart. That will be helpful. We got a void, of course, moon. But it should be, yeah, it should be already in Libra, so we're good. Phew. Yeah. I don't know. That's sort of all I feel like talking about today, y'all. Like, to be honest, like my back really hurts and I just kind of want to chill, I think. But cool thing actually, just to give you, right, a little extra something to do today, since we're gonna go like a half hour early, is if you go to astro.com, because it's Thursday. Thursday is the day of Jupiter. Okay, so Jupiter is a day of growth and expansion and YOLO. And so if you go to astro.com, you pull down to free horoscopes, and then you pull down today and tomorrow. And you go to personal daily horoscope every Thursday, and you can see like everything here, right? So you can see like their extra interpretations of things, because usually what they do is they pick out, kind of like I do for my clients, like what is your like most prominent transit today, and they'll put that up here. But then these are usually locked for people who are not subscribers. But if you're not a subscriber, you can come every Thursday and go down here and like click on these, and it'll give you like more of an interpretation. Although what I will say is that astro.com can sometimes be one of those that's like I don't know. Sometimes some of the things that they say feel like really ominous or whatever, and I don't know. You know me, that's just not the way that I do things. I always like if at any time, here's what I will say. If at any time you're reading a horoscope, you're reading something, you're reading, whatever, an interpretation of a transit or something that's going on, what I want you to do is stop and like ask yourself, like, would I say that to my child? Right? Like, is this how I would say this to my kid? Right? So it's like, if I'm trying to warn my child, or if I'm trying to prepare my child for something, just in the same way, and this is like NLP, so this isn't just for kids, like this is for everyone. Don't I'm doing it right now. Tell them what you want them to hear. Like, tell them what you want them to hear and what you want them to do. Like, be clear about what you actually want them to do. Okay. A super basic example, right? Don't run is not the same as walk safely, please. Right? Yeah. Like, don't be disruptive in class, or make sure you listen to your teacher. tell people what you want them to do, right? And so it's not, don't get into a car with a stranger. It's be aware of your surroundings at all times and only get into a car if it is one of your parents driving. Okay. So when you're reading some of these and it's like giving you an instruction, or it's like we're preparing you for something, just like try and if it says it in a negative way, or if it feels really ominous, or if it makes you feel like worried or tense or anxious, just like take a step back and ask, like, what is this really not, what is it really trying to tell me? Like, what is it really trying to prepare me for, right? Like Mercury retrograde should not strike the fear of God in you. It should remind you that it's a good thing and healthy for your relationships and healthy for your day-to-day processes, the day-to-day function of your life, for you to take care of your stuff, for you to back things up, for you to think about what you're going to say a couple of times before you actually say it, right? To hear people before you emotionally respond, right? To make sure you heard them right. Okay. That's what Mercury retrograde is for. And so that's the same thing. It's not, oh, don't sign any contracts and don't get into arguments and don't know. If you don't have those interactions, you're not going to get to use the transit to its fullest and like work out the kinks. So that's the same thing for these, right? So if you come upon anything and it's like, right, like some of these are fucked up, y'all. Like it's not, I don't think it's this one, but like this one is not great. Right. It's just like a lot of this, right? This typically it produces extreme restlessness. Like, don't talk to me about how you think that I'm gonna feel, right? Or like don't like put it in my brain that it's gonna be a negative thing. Like, I don't know. I think that there's a better way to interpret things, but this still can be, especially for people who are new to astrology and even like new to understanding like how to track your transits. These can be very helpful, even if it's just in like this sort of context, like approximately 7 years ago, right? So it's Saturn squaring my natal Jupiter. And so, these are helpful to showing you or like highlighting patterns that may be emerging in your life. Yeah, so I think that's it for today. Like, to be honest, I just really don't have it in me. I want to chill and watch Married at First Sight or something. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I love y'all so much. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Happy Jupiter Day. Go do something amazing and fun and awesome and new. And I will see y'all tomorrow for Venus Day for some Astro chat and chill. So I'll see you then. Bye.